Nick here, and today you will learn how to play Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion Scenario 2. You can find the other tutorial scenarios on the video's description. Setup. Flip to Scenario 2, a hole in the wall, and do the same setup as in Scenario 1 with the following additions. Each player takes the 2 level B cards from their deck of abilities and swap those with the 2 level A cards with the same name. You should have 4 level A and 2 level B cards. Place the monsters, but not the ones after the door. Next, take the 4 ability cards labeled Basic Vermling Raider and place it next to the scenario. Place a money token, a treasure token, or a trap tile on each hex depicting their respective icons. And now you're ready to learn how to play Scenario 2. Scenario 2 plays like Scenario 1 with the following mechanics. When an enemy dies, they drop 1 money token in the hex in which they died. Money or treasure tokens can be collected by using the loot action. Any coin or treasure left on the map at the end of the scenario are not collected. If a character is moved to a node with a trap tile, they take 3 damage and the trap is removed from the map. When a player figure moves to a door hex, the door opens. Place an activation token in it to indicate that the door is now open. All monsters inside the newly revealed room are set up. When playing action cards, instead of performing any of the abilities printed on the top or bottom of a card, you can use the card to perform an attack 2 as a top action or a move 2 as a bottom action. This is particularly useful because of the cards with this symbol. Some B cards have it. This icon means that if you perform the action, the card will immediately be placed in your lost pile instead of your discard pile. Abilities that have this icon are usually very powerful, so you should be careful about using them. Some attacks will also display area effects, like this. If the card has a gray hex, it means you need to be where the gray hex is to affect the red hexes. This is considered a melee attack. If an area of effect ability specifies a range and has no gray hex, one of the red hexes need to be within the specified range, even if that hex does not contain an enemy. All enemies within the red hexes will receive the damage. If an attack has the push or pull icon, the target is forced to move X hexes away or towards the targeting figure. You may use these to push or pull enemies towards traps. If an attack adds the disarm condition, place the disarm token on the affected figure. The figure cannot perform any attack abilities on the figure's next turn. Remove the token afterwards. If a character suffers damage, you may choose to negate the entirety of the damage by placing 1 card from your hand or 2 cards off the discard pile on the lost pile. Be careful though. This means that you will have less cards available to play and your character will go into exhaustion faster than normal. Monsters have 2 new mechanics. Monsters will always avoid traps when moving. But if there is no path available towards the target besides a trap tile, then the enemy will move into it. From Scenario 2 and moving forward, monsters will perform abilities every round based on a random card from their ability deck. Flip the top card right after all the characters have revealed their 2 cards for the round. The card will determine the monster's initiative and the abilities they will perform on their turn. If a card does not say move, the monster doesn't move. Monster abilities provide value modifications for the monster's base stat. For example, if a monster ability says attack +1 and the monster attack value is 2, the monster would perform an attack 3. Then, draw the monster modifier attack card and sum it up. Some ability cards will have the shuffle icon in the bottom right corner. If the card you drew has it, all player cards from this deck are shuffled back into the deck at the end of the round, just like the attack modifier cards. Some attacks will be ranged. They work just like hero ranged attacks. If an enemy moves before using the ranged attack, it will move only the minimum necessary to be able to hit a target. If an enemy performs a ranged attack while adjacent to their target, they gain disadvantage, which means you have to draw 2 monster attack modifier cards and pick the worst of them instead of drawing just 1. At the end of the scenario, read the conclusion and give the rewards to the players. Each gold token you collect is worth 2 gold. Add that amount to your character's sheet. Also, don't forget to add the gold acquired by completing the scenario. If you collected the treasure, look at the number on the hex, and look for the reward on the glossary book, page 31. Add to the board the scenario 3 sticker. Then search the item deck and pick the ones that range from number 1 to 13 and place them next to the city map. Between each scenario you play, characters may buy, sell, or trade items with other characters. This is the cost of the item, and this is the item type. You may own multiple items of the same type, but you can only carry into a scenario 1 head, 1 body, 1 feet, 2 hand, and 1 small item. If an item has this symbol, it means that it can be used once per scenario. Once used, flip the card to show it was consumed. At the end of the scenario, the consumed item is refreshed. If it has the spent icon, it can be used once per long rest, which will be described on scenario 3. Once used, rotate the card. If there is no icon, you can use the card whenever the situation allows. Finally, each character should add the following level 1 cards to their pool for a total of 8 cards. And that's how you play Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion Scenario 2. You can find the link to the other scenarios on this video's description or by clicking on the links to the right. Thanks for watching and see you next time!